Second hour, Donovan Sadiq, DK, and we're going to talk about keeping our head up in a world that is so negative, which is very hard for us to do. And we're going to talk about a lot of things that are affecting stuff that's in the news that's really going on with these young ladies and how they're dealing and coping with a lot of stuff. And what I mean by that is, okay, we're talking about entrepreneurship. And I want to bring this to you, D, because this is very important. A lot of these girls are now out here, and you can tell they have a self-esteem problem, because now they're calling themselves urban models or booty models, and you will go on Twitter and whatever, and all ass and titties and everything is being shown out there. And to me, that's a form of prostitution. Now, you know, however you want to look at it, what is your take on these young ladies that are doing this kind of stuff?
Well, you know, we often talk about this quite a bit. And in fact, we talked about it last week about a lot of women who, you know, are on Instagram or any other forms of social media who originally might start off with, you know, let's say they're a fitness instructor.
Sure.
But we've seen it transition to, I'm talking about, I don't know, squats.
Okay.
But I'm squatting in front of the camera. Or I'm squatting with my legs open, you know, to where people can see it. And so it makes you wonder, why are they doing this? Obviously for a few reasons. For one, you know, people are addicted to likes and attention on social media. So it's like, you know, if I get on there and say, okay, well, today I did 100 squats. Some people might say, yeah, like it, whatever. But now, if I get on there and I show you doing me, maybe not 100, but a squat, but I got my booty to the camera, I got my legs open to where you can see inside my legs, you know, and all this other stuff. So then that's when you start to ratchet it up a little bit. Not being a ratchet, but, you know, you start to turn up the heat.
Aren't you being a ratchet?
Well, yeah, you are being a ratchet, but I'm saying it's like I got to be sensational and salacious to get people to respond to me.
Okay, when a young lady does that, and you know, you got guys that are seeing this, and they friend her or whatever the deal is, and some of these guys are from the urchins of the street.
Well, my daughter, you know, she hits me up to the lingo, and I try to use it on you, and you're like, can you speak the Queen's language? Because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. She says those are thirst traps.
Okay.
Where these women will set thirst traps of, oh, I'm squatting, but I didn't, you know, show squatted in a G-string.
Right.
So that gives the guys like, ooh.
Right, but what kind of guy do you expect to attract with that kind of attitude?
I honestly don't even know if they care, because a lot of women who do that, it's those likes it's like a high for them. It validates them. Oh, all these people like it. I got all these dudes in my inbox that responded to this, so they like it. So that's why they do it, you know. And the guys, I mean, hell, they think that the women or the girls, wherever they are appealing to them specifically.
Right. But I mean, does that actually make you a model if you're a booty model?
Well, I mean, if we redefine things nowadays, I guess one could argue yes. It doesn't, you know, of course, you're not a Ford model or one of these, you know, elite models of these high-end modeling agencies. But Instagram, I would say, has reinvented the modeling game. Anybody can be a model.
Right. Now, but unfortunately, in our community, a lot of that leads into prostitution and escorting and things of that nature.
Yes.
Or unwanted pregnancies with the guy that you hooked up with on the links. And I kind of know this because I've done my research watching these Jerry Springer shows and Paternity Court.
That's
it's something that Temple research. Because I honestly, you know, from my background, I thought this was just like entertainment, but this is real life.
Well, no, it is art is starting to imitate life, or like imitating art, however you want to say it. To where that's the way things are now. People can, you know, it's funny because my daughter, she'll watch Netflix, and every Netflix show, and I don't watch it, I just be in the room, but it'll catch my attention because I'll hear this over-the-top sex scene.
Right.
And I said, does everything you watch on Netflix have to have such an over-the-top, such an overt sex scene?
Because as older people that we are, it isn't all that.
Well, not even that, because when we grew up watching TV or movies, that
you
was...
didn't see it. It wasn't even...
Yeah,
it was implied.
Exactly.
It was implied.
But now it's just the whole shebang, and I'm not a prude, but I told her, I said, to me it just seems like it's cheap.
Al says you're a prude. Okay.
Yeah.
Al, she said she never said no. But go ahead.
But I mean, I think that's how, especially with the generations, how they get their attention by doing over the top stuff. They can't watch Gone with the Wind like we could have. That was entertaining for
Wizard
us.
of Oz.
Yeah, none of that kind of stuff. Well, Dorothy'd have to be driving it like it's hot.
Right, and that's so sad. Because what I'm saying is, I was watching Paternity Court, doing my research, and there was a girl there sitting there, and I was in the military, and I had these young girl troops come up, and she had gone to a party in a hotel, off base, and the problem right at the situation I was dealing with was she was pregnant at the time, and we're like, okay, military is very conservative. They want you to be married if you're going to be in that situation. If you're on your first term enlistment, that's not good. So people say, well, that's incredible. How you get in her business? It's the military. Her business is my business. Right. She has no control over her life. I control her life.
Let's say it's property of?
It's property of the United States government. You are property. Slave, basically. Organized slavery. That's all the military is. So I said, well, what happened? And she told me, she was at a party. I said, okay, there's nothing wrong with being at a party. There's nothing wrong with that. And they were kicking it. I said, what do you mean? What does that mean, kicking it? And they were just banging, I guess. Kicking it.
Okay.
And I said, well, do you know who the father is? She was like, no.
Okay, so when she was kicking it with a few people.
Yeah.
At once.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? So in this
they used to call that orgies back in the day.
Well, no, it wasn't orgy. This was a train.
So she was kicking it.
Yeah, she was kicking it.
She was on the kicking it train.
Right. Because this was like 10 or 12 years ago, so they weren't in it. But anyway, on Paternity Court, a girl was saying the same thing. Like, well, we just having sex. Okay, you had a sex with a guy that you knew weren't taking care of his kids and wasn't doing all this other stuff, and yet you laid down with this very man. I mean, what is it about that guy that that you?
Well, I mean,
and Judge, what's her name, said something very, very, very pleasant like that, because the girl was like, "Well, he got me pregnant." Nobody could get you pregnant if you're protecting yourself.
Well, technically, he could get her pregnant.
If you're protecting yourself, he can.
Right. We know it's a two-way street.
Yes.
Well, I think, I don't know. To me, it's always going to boil down to low self-esteem or having a healthy self-esteem. If you have low self-esteem, anybody can say whatever they want to say to you, and just kind of sell you. What is it? Just any old thing.
Well, let me ask you this. You're an educated woman. Why is it that a young man going to college is not attractive to these young women?
Because you attract who you are. So let's just look at it this way. And, it's funny because a while back, I said that on somebody's page when they were saying something about, how to say pretty much the same question that you asked. Mm-hmm. And I said, you attract who you are. Okay. And they got all smart saying, well, if I was attracting who I am, I'd be, because basically...
Yeah, I'm not a ratchet. I love
Well, basically, she was saying she was very, this, that, and the other. I'd be with a baller and all this other stuff. Listen, I don't know who you would be with. I'm asking you a question. You attract who you are. A lot of times people will dress up with, the nice hair and the clothes, and, even driving a nice car, and maybe have a little bit of money, but that's a mask. That's a facade.
Yeah, because most of those guys are dead.
Who you feel, who you are, and who you feel who you deserve to be with. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those people might be saying, "Look at me, I got it going on," and but on the inside, they feel like they deserve, in your terms, somebody who is less than. That's who they end up with. That's why I see a lot of women. They're like, "Damn, she's cute. She got her own thing going on," and she ended up with a dude who's sagging his pants, who can't keep a job, who got 3 and 4 and 5 baby mamas and ain't taking care of the kids. Well, what's the deal? Because I have a good friend whose in-law is in that situation. Okay. Who is educated, don't have any kids, has a good job, 6 figures. But the guy that she decided to wed has a bunch of kids, a bunch of baby mamas, and just, you name it, just like the no goods and the no goods. Mm-hmm. This woman could be with anybody she wants, but she chooses to be with him because that's what she feels she deserves. She doesn't feel like she deserves somebody who will meet her at least where she is in life.
Interesting. So, so we have a mass problem with changing these women's self-esteem or just their projection of what's successful. If a man came up to me and I was a woman and he said, I just got out of prison or I've been in prison, there's no future there as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying because you've been to prison. What did you go to prison for? Well, a lot of times too, and I'm speaking from experience. I try not to speak. Yeah, D used to date all the guys on the block and the thugs and stuff.
Listen, I ain't never dated nobody right on the prison steps. None of that kind. That I did not do.
No. D was a Marine Corps supporter, hardcore supporter.
I don't know about hardcore. I mean, I've been to the base. Okay, I've been sponsored onto the base. Okay, let's put it that way. In my younger years.
Yes, younger years.
All right. We'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Okay,
Leave it
I
at
know
that.
my man is listening. Okay, not that I was out there, baby. I wasn't out there. I was
D
checking
was
on
a
the
good girl.
troops.
That's right, checking on the troops.
But I don't like to speak from a place of non-experience. Like, I'm not going to tell you how to, about your situation if I can't apply personal experience to it. So what I'm saying is I've been there to where I've been with guys who were less than. Guys.
So what made you get out of it?
Just knowledge of self. That is always going to be the case. If you have no proper knowledge of self, you don't know who you are, who you deserve, and what you deserve, you're always going to end up with bottom feeders. Let's just call it what it is. You're going to end up with bottom feeders. Dudes who are not about nothing, who are going to, listen, I'm going to the store in your car, baby, let me drop you off at work. And your black ass is sitting up there waiting for him to come back. And you got to get a ride because this dude ain't showed up with your car.
But wait a minute. Number one is, if he's asking you for your car, there's a problem.
Right, but I'm saying, when you know who you are,
right,
that type of dude who's usually, because it's okay. Listen, everybody ain't got a car.
Right.
However,
but as a man, you should.
Right, but
there's a old prophet. His name is Mr. Coulter.
This
man has so much wisdom, and and he's right. And a lot of things that he says, he is right.
He's right, and so I've been there before, just young in my 20s. Early 30s. Let me put my shit. The early 40s. Okay, my ex-husband was a douchebag. Okay, so, but I've been there before.
Right. Nice guy. He's just a douchebag.
Very douchebag. Yeah. But I've been there before. Having a guy use my car to go to work. I dropped me off at work. Now I know good and hell well this dude didn't have no job, so he shouldn't have been dropping me off at work.
Right.
And then I'm like, hey, where you at with my car? And he ain't answering the phone. So
but the thing is, though, if he ain't got a car, why is that your problem?
Well, because you listen. I'm telling you from my perspective. I want to help you. I want to help.
Captain Save a nigga.
Yeah, I mean, keep it real. I want to help you get from the bottom, and a lot of us end up succeeding in that, except for he'll leave us. But I want to help you get to where you got to go. So here, baby, use my card. Oh, you ain't got no money? Okay, here go my ATM card.
Where are those women at? Because Amanda won't send me a dime.
They're there. Like I said, I was very young, thinking that's what it took to keep a man or to help a man.
Right.
Even though I didn't see that as an example of my father's or my mom, I didn't see that, but just kind of just being out there on my own and stuff like that. So yeah, you do end up with guys who are less than. And in hindsight, you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
Right, but wouldn't that be from not asking enough questions and verifying what the guy's telling me?
It's a combination of things. Is you not having enough self-esteem to say that sounds nice, but I'm good.
Right. So
on top of the guy being able to sell you the pipe dreams.
Right. But how do we turn that around?
By acquiring knowledge of self before you get into a relationship with anybody. I mean, you were talking about this not too long ago. People who are often untrue to themselves end up in bad situations. Be true to yourself. If you know that you don't want a man who, let's say, doesn't have a car, doesn't have a job, which, I don't recommend anybody end up with somebody like that. Get yourself together first, brother, then we can talk.
Right.
If you know you don't want those things, don't try to explain away the red flags or try to say, well, I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him be all he can be. Right. He needs to come to the table already that way.
If there's a video clip or something that you would recommend that would kind of talk about the situation, what would you recommend? Something that people could see.
Hell, y'all can listen to me. I talk about it all the time.
Oh, by the way, I did share your video all that place, and people were just like, "Get that
bitch! Come on with it!" No, I'm just playing.
They ain't talking about you. You ain't doing your job.
You got that right, brother. But and there's plenty of information out there. But to me, it's very simple. Now, maybe I can say this because
give me an example of a movie.
A movie.
Don't say Girls Trip.
Oh, see, you tripping.
Sit your black ass down.
A movie that would help empower women.
It's just something that they can use as an example that we could take a look at.
Okay. On the flip side, you might want to look at Claudine. I think most people have seen Claudine.
Wait a minute. It's 139 Edgecombe Avenue. My name is Claudine Price.
Rupert P. Marshall. 7 o'clock.
Hanging in a
Claudine and Rupert are working on a project, a love project.
When I get to know you better, maybe. I said maybe.
And while they're working hard to get it together, the world's working harder to keep them apart.
Hello? Miss Claudine Price Leaper?
Yeah.
6 kids and 4 rooms.
36 and it ain't old.
It's too old to be messing around.
20th Century Fox presents James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll in Claudine.
Cool it. Your mama's going on a date, like a nice restaurant, some fine music.
It's gonna wind up chicken anyway.
Mom, it's Miss K back to social worker.
Society gave us no choice. Had to silence my voice, pushing me on the welfare.
Well, don't just stand there, honey. Let her in.
This man may be bringing things into your home which you may not be deducting. Now, you know I have to deduct you on those things.
What things? What things, damn it? You have a man come over for dinner, he brings you a bottle of wine. I have a man come over for dinner, he brings me a damn 6-pack. Oh, there are 2 left, Miss K-Back. Would you like a beer?
If you've ever laughed, you'll dig Claudine.
You're the gentleman that's been keeping company here.
Oh, no, ma'am, I'm just a garbage man.
Oh, well, may I have your name, please?
Simpson X, that's it. You've heard of Malcolm X, I'm Simpson X.
If you've ever cried, you'll dig Claudine.
Mama, I'm not a baby anymore.
I know you're not a baby, but you're not a woman either.
I'm nothing. That's what I am. I don't know nothing. I don't have nothing. I'm nothing.
If you've ever had dreams, you'll dig Claudine.
I have actually avoided success. Oh, no. You know why? Because when you are successful and rich, people will envy you and hate you. And I want people to love me.
If you've ever had troubles, you'll dig Claudine.
Monty, baby. Hey! Cheer up. It could get worse. I cheered up, and the law was right. It got worse.
If you've got heart,
Suppose I do not marry this lady. Now, if I move in with her and do not tell you, then we're both crooks, right? But if I do tell you, then we're back to the income and the outcome and the deducting, and you drive me to drink. And you call a fraud if I spend $7 for a bottle of whiskey.
if you've got soul.
But there's one thing you better know. And that is, I love all of y'all.
If you're young, old, rich, poor, black, white, or green, you'll dig Claudine.
And that,
James Earl Jones and
Diane Carroll.
Diane Carroll.
What, you know, she had a bunch of kids by a couple different dudes. It sounds like, you know, she was struggling to make ends meet. She meets James Earl Jones's character. What was his name? Rufus. In the movie, and you know, he's trying to help her, but then he's got his own situation with the kids. He's child support is raking him over. That was back in the day. It was
yeah,
true
that was
story.
in the 70s. That's true story.
The man in the home was attached with the child support, whether you were the father or not,
Right.
which is why we always talk about that, how that was a ploy to keep, especially the black man, out the home.
And it also works in reverse. If you are married and there's a birth in the marriage, it doesn't matter if you're not the father. Legally, you are the father.
But I think that's a good movie for anybody to watch. Like, damn, if you think you're gonna go down that road, watch this. Now, it was fiction, but that's a lot of
No, that was
stories.
not fiction. That was true.
I mean, even just like you said, that was in the early 70s, and that is going on in 2017. Right. I know of a woman, I kid you not, who is on her 8th child, and I think she's 33. 33 years old, and she has a plethora of fathers to these children.
See, but here's what I don't understand. Sisters, women out there, you are not just baby making machines.
Again,
you're more than that.
But again, I've only had one child, so I was fortunate enough to where I didn't get into that. But
a few scares, but it's okay.
No, I think you mistake emotions and feelings for the real deal. Yeah, you know, you're going to feel good with somebody when you're horizontal is all, you know, and then you got to feel good.
15 minutes and I'm done.
Yeah, you know, but you're mistaking that for the real deal. Like, that's not reality. A friend of mine, I got mentored by a lot of older men.
Yeah.
Men I wasn't involved with, by the way, so don't go there. Yeah. But a lot of older men who kept it real with me. And an older friend of mine, he says, you know what? a lot of people don't understand is once you do your thing in the bed, but once your feet hit the ground, you're still gonna have those same problems.
Well, Dee, I was just talking to you before we went on air about a situation that I'm in. Sounds like almost the exact same thing. I mean, in my situation, the horizontal is great.
But that's what, and so while you're asking me how do women, and I can only speak from a woman's point of view, get into that situation, we mistake those feelings for the real deal. Ooh, yeah, he put it down. He had my hair curled and all this other stuff, and then it's like,
I got knots on my head for
right, all of that. So we mistake that as, okay, this dude is about something. But it's like, yeah, because he can get down in the bed, shit. He ain't brought nothing to the table.
Right.
He ain't. You keep telling him your lights are getting cut off. But yeah, he ain't brought no money to the, here, baby. He goes, but he's doing you good though.
Right.
And so, on the flip side of that, well, how about we just move this to Father's Day? We'll see on social media, women, happy Father's Day to me.
Repeal Father's Day.
Yeah, or happy Father's Day to me because my deadbeat, no good baby daddy, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, listen.
Moms.
Yes. I do agree that there are some men you probably didn't just know, he was no good or whatever the case is. However, when he was blowing your back out,
right,
you wasn't taking all that into consideration.
He was the greatest.
He was always that. He was always the deadbeat, quote unquote, or the dude who takes your car and don't come back and was spend up the rent money on some weed. Right. He was already that.
Right.
But now that you're shouldering the responsibilities all by yourself, responsibilities being the child, now you want to put them on blast. But it's like,
which is nothing different that black women haven't been doing for over years.
Well, again, because we are speaking about blackness, I just always like to, say that it's not just black women, but because we're speaking about black women, yes, we do have an issue with that. But again, when you don't know who you are, you'll settle for anything. And then and putting your baby daddy on blast on Facebook on Father's Day is not it's not coming into who you are. It's not you realizing who you are. It's just you being bitter. Yeah. It's you being mad because this is the one thing day you can stick it to him. It's his day, and I'm gonna take it away from him by giving myself the credit. But it's like, dude, you opened your legs.
The funny thing is, you see the meme I put up every year. Mother's Day, everybody's going out to eat and everything's great. Come Father's Day, y'all want us to barbecue.
Right.
You can't take that out.
Well, I mean, so again, how do women end up with men like that is because no knowledge of self.
Okay. So the cycle just keeps repeating itself, repeating itself, and repeating itself. And then by the time they mature and they really know what's going on, which is where I'm in my situation, where I see these women, because of their younger decisions, they're bringing the drama into me. I'm a single man. I take care of my responsibilities. So I would say I'm an anomaly. I'm not saying I'm a perfect man. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, now I got a woman that's my age that is dealing with the children that are now grown that she didn't teach to work, have a work ethic, especially their sons. What real man is going to let a grown-ass man live in the house with, if you're my woman, an example, and you have a grown-ass son that has no work ethic, and he's sitting on the couch, and I'm coming over to spend time with you, and I'm looking at this little dude, even though that's your son, I don't have time for it.
Can I just say this? I would say this. As, let's say that was our situation. If I'm a person on the outside looking in, I would question you as to why would you be with a woman who would think it's cool to baby her grown child? That's always going to cause problems between you and I.
Right.
We're always going to have that because I, as a woman, think it's okay that my grown son is home on the couch and, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing anything. So I would question you as a man, like, why would you... Listen, because then that means that you as a man are falling for that, she's good in bed.
Right, but see... But that where I'm going with that is, thus why I'm single and by myself. Because I'm not going to fall for the okie doke and I have a set parameter of what I want. If that woman doesn't meet that parameter... I can do bad by myself.
And and I always give you credit for this too, because there's a lot of men out there. I mean, you do have your stuff together, and I think that's an understatement. You do have you do. That's an understatement. You do have your stuff together, but I applaud you because you don't settle. You don't say, you know what, I'm just gonna be with anything. Yeah, anything. You cute, you got all this and that, but listen, you were not for me because you're asking me to be untrue to myself. To suit your narrative.
Right.
And if you were really into me, you wouldn't ask me to do that. Like, you wouldn't bring no, because you see, I'm not about nonsense.
Right.
Don't bring no nonsense to me
Right,
and ask
exactly.
me to accept
it and be with it, and just out of companionship. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of girlfriends. If I want some booty, I can go get booty. But to be with me on a constant basis, to bring all that drama, I can't do
And
it.
that's the thing. You hit the nail on the nail on the head. A lot of people, they're so lonely. They want companionship, so they're like, you know,
Get a dog. Do what I did. Get a dog and some cats.
I'll settle. Yeah, you cool. You know, yeah, I see you doing a lot of things I don't like, but I'm lonely, so I just put up with you.
Can't do it.
A lot of people do that though. They put up with nonsense because they don't like sleeping by themselves.
I don't like sleeping by myself, but you know what? Belle does make a nice little warm spot in the bed when she's on, when I got my back like this and she's on the other side. You know?
Right. But
it's just her snoring and her fart.
A lot of people won't get to know themselves, and so a lot of people ask me, well, how did you get to the point where you're at? It's because I took the time once I got out of my marriage, which was a sham, to say the least. And you know what? I make a lot of jokes about it, but I don't totally like to fault him because I put the blame.
Damn right, you're at fault.
Well, no, honestly, I was at fault. Not at fault for the things that he did to me, but at fault for settling for somebody I knew damn well I shouldn't have been with in the first place.
Everybody's telling you what are you doing?
Yeah, and I knew that, but again,
You're
gosh, those flags are red, but if I just flip it around, it might be white.
Right. Just give him some time.
Right, so that was my fault. But I turned it around for one, Erykah Badu made this comment, and I think it is so true. That when you get out of a relationship and you don't fix yourself and get to know who you are, you just end up with the same person again. Now, maybe physically not the same person, but the same type of person, because you don't know what it is you're looking for. You continuously go for this, you fall into the same patterns because you have no knowledge of self. So that's what I did. I spent a few years getting to know who I was and who I am, by just saying, because my dad used to say, especially when I got out of going through the divorce, he says, I thought my dad was going to be like, where is he at? I want to kill him. But my dad says, well, just be true to yourself. I'm like, wait. I'm looking for the fireworks. I'm looking for you to just
go down there, get your gun, call the boys.
He's like, be true to yourself. And he says, if being true to yourself means you go back, that's who you are.
Right.
I'm not saying that I like it, but that's...
Are you sure your dad isn't my dad?
He might be. We might be.
Wise man.
But he said being true to yourself, meaning that you know you deserve more.
Right.
Then do that. But at the end of the day, being true to yourself, you will never go wrong.
And you know what? He's not wrong, because when I started being true to myself, that's when my life started changing around.
Yep.
And I stopped following the Joe and wanted to be like this person. You know what? I said, you know what? I want to be like me.
Exactly.
And that was it. And I was done. And I haven't looked back since. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know everything. But
you're being true to you.
To myself.
You're perfect to you.
Right. And I do things to keep busy. I travel.
Right.
I do this show.
Well, you do a lot of shows.
I do a lot of shows.
Right.
To get the information out there. I had a person tell me I was not empathetic.
Well, maybe they're saying you weren't empathetic because you weren't empathetic to
their situation.
Right. They wanted to manipulate you.
Right.
See, that's another thing too. A lot of times we get in relationships and try to manipulate the other person into our narrative and try to get them away from being true to themselves.
Yes, and the funny thing is, this young lady, beautiful. She's beautiful. I mean, body just unbelievable, right? Everything you would want,
right,
as a man sexually,
right.
But ladies, let me tell you something. There are some men out there, you could be all of that, and that's a small part of a relationship.
You know what? Honestly, I think you need to expound on that, because there's a lot of women who think, back to your original point of the Instagram and I got this and that. Yeah, a man will hit it.
Of course.
But
absolutely.
after that, I mean, you didn't give me nothing else I can't go out here 5 minutes from now and get.
Right.
So what else are you bringing to the... Right. And I think you really need to go into that, because a lot of women think, well, shoot, I got a big ass.
Well, and I think I will go in on that, because especially these young girls, for some reason, every young girl, I've got nieces, they think that their pussy is made of platinum. Now, earlier today, I told you, and it's sad, because I know the truth. All this pussy out here, I'm not going to sit here and be feeding over one. I just can't do it.
Well, there's a lot of men who do, though, or they put on... they portray that they do.
Right.
Oh gosh, girl, you the only one. Oh wow, she just put it on me. It's just that guy broke the mold when he, Yeah,
no. but I mean, okay. Now, when you're younger, it's more about the physical.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, you know you haven't grown as a person when everything is based on the physical. I
totally agree with you on that.
You haven't grown because now at my age, like, you know, Dee will come over, whatever deal is, and, you know, we're doing the show, whatever. I want to read. Hey, did you hear what's happening? I could be in bed and be like, did you see what happened in Houston? You know, and I want to talk about it because, you know, it's all good and great, but at our age, it's more about the companionship.
And, you know, and speaking of, you know, like you said, you know, you haven't grown if everything is about the physical. We do live in a world now, society, to where Photoshop is just fooling people left and right. And so, especially if you are a woman, even a woman of my age, you know,
we went to a voter registration, and that lady you showed me was not the same person I saw.
But that's what I'm saying. Especially, you know, as women, especially even still women my age, are falling into, ooh, I gotta be perfect. I gotta get on social media and, you know, and make everybody think that I'm perfect. I don't have any dents in my back of my legs and no
bullet
stretch marks
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Listen. But when you get of a certain age and you get with a man who's like, baby, I don't give a shit about all that. Yeah, those are just extra places to grab for me.
Exactly.
Then, you know, like you said, you have grown, but there's a lot of people out there like, I got to hoodwink people.
Right. Or if you don't like, you know, your body size, okay, and you get a man that says, okay, baby, let's do it together.
Right.
Let's work on that together.
But at the same time, I mean, when you, because and you could probably attest to this now. Me and you started hanging out more right after I got out of my marriage. Mm-hmm. So I was still, you know, on the heavy side. But then I started to, remember, I was exercising to the point where I was really small. I was probably like 25 pounds smaller than I am now. And I know I was doing that because at that time I was
want to kill him. No,
no, but I was still trying to figure out who I was. And I was like, damn, I got to look like this and that if I'm going to attract somebody else. And so then once I started to learn who I was, I'm like, listen, this next person is going to like me for who I am. Right. And so when I got with Al, I didn't feel the need to have to be perfect. Like, oh gosh, there's some cellulite right there. Oh my gosh, I need to do some squats to get rid of it.
Get rid of it, yeah.
He was like, I don't give a damn about all of that.
Right.
You know,
right.
And so,
especially at our age.
So I gained a couple of pounds.
Yeah. To be comfortable. You want to be comfortable.
Well, I was. I didn't feel that, but because when I was going really hard, I was exercising 2 or 3 times a day. I thought I was doing it for me. Right. I was actually doing it for some fictitious dude who I needed to be perfect for. So,
and that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, and I'm cool with it now.
See, and I just want to tell Leigh, I know I'm a man, I'm on this show and stuff like that, but I'm just going to tell you guys, just like Dee said, you got to know who you are as a person before if you can't accept yourself, how do you expect anybody else to accept you?
Well, because, true, and I don't argue with that, but a lot of times is we want people to accept, and, you know, I'll give you this, you always talk about how women, you know, wearing the weaves and eyelashes, you know, on my show, men talk about that. Some guy said what's up with the women wearing the bat-winged eyes? And I was like, what's a bat-winged eye? But he was talking about those long eyelashes.
Wanting eyelashes like me. Natural. Good.
No, if you ever go to Winco, I know you've seen the lady.
Yes, I've seen them.
God, it looked like she cut a broom in half.
Yeah,
and just
the
put
big
her,
lady with the short hair.
Yes. Yeah. See? But so we want you to, not we, but women want you to accept that. We want you to accept all the glitz and the glam, the hair and all of that kind of stuff. But it's like, is that who you really are? Or is that who you want him to think you are?
Or, think of it this way, ladies. I see you, whatever it is, oh my God, you're beautiful. And there was a movie, and we're going to play it right here, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, where he gets her home, he's ready to get into it. The hair comes off, the eye comes off, the leg comes off. I mean, who are you? This is the person that...
And how long ago was that movie?
1988.
And it's gotten worse. It's like that is
problems.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, black women, you guys are beautiful, but you got to know that.
Well, you know, I don't know where it came from to where I mean... You see me, like most people who would come to a show, they would have the hair
right. Yeah, I'm gonna look like a European.
Listen, I'm about to go to Winco my damn self when I leave here. Okay, now I got on some shorts and all of that stuff, but you know, I'm comfortable being me. I'm not going to be somebody I'm not to please other people. Like before I talk about this, I had the house fire. I didn't spend a lot of money on clothes, but you know
And you still don't spend a lot of money on clothes.
I don't, because once I lost all that stuff, I was like, wow, I was really fortunate enough to escape with my very life.
Right.
And so those things don't define me. Yeah. I I got a couple of dresses. You might see me wear the same thing over and over again, but you know what? I'm not trying to please everybody else. I'm cool with wearing the same dress sometimes twice a week.
You see me all the time. Either I'm in a jumpsuit working around the house, or I'm in some shorts, and I'm in shorts right now. I'm
in shorts right now, but mine's are kind of short, so I'll show them to you. But yeah, I mean, so once you get comfortable with who you are, you don't have a need to try to please everybody else. Oh, well, I can't go nowhere with the same dress because everybody done seen the dress. Listen, y'all have seen this dress like 10 times. Right. And if you don't like it, listen, I am a size 6, 7, 8, depending on the designer. You are more than welcome to go buy me something else.
Exactly.
That's my attitude.
Exactly. And, you know, the funny thing is I have a lot of female friends, and I see them on Instagram and stuff. And, you know, women love taking pictures. That's just the fact. Women love taking pictures, seeing themselves. And you should, because you guys are something that we should look at and be like, wow, you know, that girl's attractive. And that's good and great. And hopefully you'll find a man that's going to love you for who you are. But if you're taking those pictures and you've got the booty pads in and the fake implants and stuff like that, that's not who you are.
Right.
At the end of the day,
I love being transparent and honest. Like, I don't like to lie to people and stuff. So before I got in a relationship with Al, I took a lot of pictures too. And a lot of it was, to show people my new outfit, but a lot of it too, not a lot of it, but a small amount of it was a little bit for validation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell, I hardly ever put pictures of myself up anymore, because I'm like, I got somebody who loves me, that's all I'm concerned with.
But how is that feeling to know that?
It feels good. It also feels good that I'm validated already by the person I'm with. I don't need validation of people I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I don't need that. That doesn't care to me. I don't care if you ever see another picture of me.
That is my point, and that's how I deal with I was telling you about my friend. I was telling her, all my friends know me. You can talk to me till you're blue in the face. I am gonna do what I'm gonna do anyway. I'm gonna take it or leave it.
Right.
Give me the advice, take it or leave it. I'll give you that advice, take it or leave it.
But I think that is so important as a man, that you do tell women, listen, we ain't into all of that. Y'all doing that for y'all. Right. You know, we gonna like your Instagram pictures because that's what we do with men. Yeah. At the end of the day, am I gonna take you home and my mom say, oh yes, this is an Instagram model, follow, drop it like it's hot, juicybooty.com.
Well, what do I always say? I love ratchets. I mean, I'm not gonna shy away from that. That's who I am. I love ratchet women that look ratchet. Now, when I say ratchet, I'm not talking about the chicks with the tattoos all up here and all that. The women that you can have fun with. You know, they're kind of ghetto, like Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
I love women like it. That's a beautiful woman. Yo-Yo is a beautiful woman. But I like that kind of woman that's just like down and just ready to have fun.
You don't want one to throw bleach on your clothes.
I'm not into all that. I like ratchet, the women that are.
Bust the windows out your car.
Yeah, you can go up to Cheers or Metro and have a good time. Yeah. And it is what it is, and I'll see you when I see you. That at the end of the day. But am I going to marry you? Absolutely not.
Well, you might find a woman like that.
Exactly, that I really do like. Right. I'm not saying never. I'm just saying.
Right.
I might really, really, really like you and say, hey, let's make
it
this
sounds like you like a woman who's a little bit more of a free spirit.
Free spirit, exactly.
It's not, but she's not gonna her thing is not gonna damper your
thing.
Right.
Like I said, I was, I'm in the military. I don't want to be going to some place at a ball and she got tattoos all up here, and I'm looking at her like, I want to, just have fun, just be free spirit, just whatever's whatever. And the thing that you and Al have. Honestly, sometimes I say I wish I can be and have that.
You will, and because people say that to me a lot. It's like, listen, hell, I've been through.
Your sister has me as a side dude.
No. Well, listen, you need to step your game up so you can be the main dude.
I need to go down there. I need to go down there.
No, I mean, everybody can have that. It's really about, and when two people who are true to themselves come together, and of course, it takes you going through a lot of stuff in the past. And then you come to that point. Two people who are interested in being themselves. Listen, I love you for you. I'm not trying to change you into this, that, and the other. I'm cool with you as long as you don't get... Because sometimes I do get off the chain a little bit.
Sure.
And Al will say, okay, baby, you need to bring it back. Like he'll say with the Black Power stuff. He says, sometimes you really go there. So I just need you... And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. Let me go ahead and just...
See, now, if I would have said that, nigga, you ain't telling me nothing. I don't give a damn what you're saying. Hell with you men. This is what's going on.
No, but that also takes from... See, that only works... Because I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, okay, well, is he saying this to me because he's just being a jerk? Or is he saying it to me because it's true?
It's true.
And oftentimes it's true. Like, okay, you don't need to just do the damn thing. Because my mom used to always give me that criticism too. Like, yo, you need to relax a little bit.
Well, I'm going to let out a little secret. This woman here has every black female exploitation movie out there. Her main thing is Pam Grier. Coffee. She was in it. She loved it. She loved it.
I love me some Pam Grier. I actually, read her autobiography.
Beautiful woman. Oh my God.
I mean, she's.
How did they find cocaine in her cooch?
Interesting enough, it was due to her having sex with Richard Pryor.
And he was shooting it in.
Yeah, he was, but he was ingesting so much cocaine. When she said she went to her gynecologist, they did the sample and they was like, "Do you do cocaine?" And she says, "No." He says, "Well, it's funny. We found a bunch of it around your cervix, and that was from her sleeping with Richard Pryor, and he had done so much cocaine that it was."
Damn it! Probably damaged her reproductive system.
It could have. I don't know if it did, but yeah, she had a. And Pam, she's a beautiful person, but she
had a health scare for a while.
I think she had cancer twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And in her book, she talks about.
I date Pam Grier right now.
Yeah, she still got it going on.
She's in Colorado. Call me Pam.
But she was dating a guy when she first found out she had cancer. Some guy she was really, and it was not weird, but she, like most black women, she really loved these guys. Yeah. From Freddie Prinze, from
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
but he was Lou Alcindor before they got together. Right. Richard Pryor, a couple other people she was with, but this one particular guy.
I think my dad. No, I'm joking.
And my dad would tell you, I was reading. He would tell you he loved some Foxy Brown.
Yes.
But anyway, so she says when she was going through her whole cancer bout, and again, like a lot of black women, she was there for this guy and all this other stuff. When she got cancer, she said he just up and left. Yeah, she's battling for her life. Like, where's the love of my life?
And that's when Fort Apache the Bronx, she had just got over it, and she got a career resurgent, and she was in Fort Apache the Bronx with Paul Newman. For those of you guys that aren't thespians, and it's so sad when you talk about movies, because I got a lot of movies.
Yeah, a lot. What'd you say, 2,500 of them?
I got over 3,000. At least 3,000
yeah.
movies. But it's so sad when you talk about movies, and the only thing black folks that I've run into is they can recite is New Jack City, Cooley High, Set It Off. All these. I'm not saying those are good movies, but I'm just saying there's more to us than bank robbing.
You know who is a movie aficionado? Is that doggone Al.
Really?
Oh my God, he could tell you their names, the extra movies that they did back in 1972, and the people who was in all the extras, the grip behind the scenes. This dude, is a movie
connoisseur.
Oh my God, he could.
Well, we're gonna have to get together because I got a lot of movies, and I was a thespian, and like I said, Denzel stayed on there too long, and I couldn't even get my slot.
Your time to shine is trying to fade now.
Yeah, because I was a young cat. Now I got to play the old daddy roles.
They say with Samuel Jackson,
Yeah, he's still getting some play.
But he came to prominence in his 40s.
Yeah, but I'm almost in my 50s now.
So don't give up.
But I'm gonna make sure I have a Wesley Snipes clause in my thing. I gotta do a love scene in all my movies.
Oh, God.
So I want y'all to see my ass as I do whatever I gotta do. But like I said, Pam Grier, beautiful woman, things like that. I'd marry her in a heartbeat. But like I said, Al's really good with that. But what movie would you say, besides Claudine, which is a good thing to do? I was watching Lady Sings the Blues the other day.
Yes.
That is a beautiful movie of how a woman, once again, a movie that shows you can do all the drugs you want. It never ends up happy in the end. And then she had a man that loved her.
One of my favorite, I didn't love the movie, but I did, which is one of my favorite books, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston.
Yes. I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings.
Yeah, that's Maya Angelou. But, in this particular story, that Their Eyes Were Watching God, the part that really was eye-opening to me is, in the beginning, I can't remember her name, the characters. All I know is Tea-Cake, the dude she ended up with. But her grandmother was telling her, don't marry, because she wanted her to marry some old dude. And she's 14 or so in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's like, don't marry for love, marry for money.
Yes.
Marry for money. And so she's like, Grandma, I want to marry for love. She's like, no, listen, I did it. Everybody else around me did it for love, and look where I'm at.
Right.
Okay, so I need you to marry. So she kind of did, but it didn't work out. She ended up marrying for love the young guy, Tea-Cake, and I don't want to ruin the story, but I don't know. To me, I think that's the question for a lot of women, or even men. Well, really women. Do I marry for love, or do I marry for money? And I think a lot of women will say, "Well, I can learn to love him," because I've
Sure,
had older women say that to me when I was single. Why don't you get you a sugar daddy? I'm like, well, I'm kind of the woman that needs to love the dude. I can't just be with the guy for money.
Right, right.
You can learn to love him. Nah, that ain't sexy to me. I don't want to have to learn to love you.
Right, right.
You know, but
You got this guy on top of you, and you're just like,
you got on top of me doing his business.
Yeah.
It felt like he was going to the bathroom.
Yeah, you're in the episode of The Color Purple.
Yeah,
you know? You're just like, dang.
I never wanted that to be me.
Right.
You know, to be with somebody just for money. But there's a lot of women who do that. I'll learn to love them.
Right. Well, I got a homework assignment for everybody out there. If you want to see a movie that talks about black love, Love and Basketball is one of them. Love Jones, my all-time favorite, which is based on my life.
Oh, okay.
Very, very good one. And do me a favor, when you watch Love Jones, email me, text me, whatever, and tell me what the movie was about. Because a lot of people don't even know what that movie's about. Do you know what that movie was about?
Love Jones?
Yeah.
Other than basketball and...
Well, Love Jones.
I mean, no, I'm thinking of Love and Basketball.
Yeah.
Love Jones. You know, it's been a while since I've seen it.
That was a great movie. But if it's, it was about him loving her, and I got no...
Oh, you know, I got two good movies.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you ever seen Anna LaCosta?
I haven't seen it yet.
Watch that movie.
Okay.
With Eartha Kitt, Sammy Davis Jr.
Right, I have that, yeah.
And Al's funny. He knows all the other characters in this movie. Watch that movie.
Okay.
That is ultimate, like, love story, if you ask me. The
Okay.
ultimate love story, choosing between, you know, a good guy and a bad guy.
Right.
You know, she was a CD character herself. And then the other one, just slipped my mind. I'll think about it. I know we're getting ready to leave.
But the thing is, Love Jones is actually not about, you know, it's about love, but the whole premise of the movie was breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, and getting back together.
Oh yeah, okay.
That was the whole premise of the movie. So a lot of people don't know that. They go, oh, it's about the love, and no.
Oh, I was going to say, She's Gotta Have It.
Yes, I have that movie. That's
by
another
Spike
one. Spike Lee, his
that
very
is an
first
awesome
feature.
One. That features a woman who has three guys who
3 different personalities
that make one good dude, but apart she just could not
Right.
settle with one of them.
And the funny thing you say that is because my mother we were living in Japan. My mother brought that video home on VHS. No, it was Beta. We had a Beta machine. And she brought it home and told me and my brother to sit there and watch it with her. Changed my life. Seriously. That's when I was first introduced to doing it. Because I was like, what the hell is this about? My mom was like, watch this movie.
That is a very good movie.
Because, you know, back then movies weren't in black and white. But this one was.
Yeah.
And it was Nola Darling, which was a very good movie.
Very
And there's supposed to be a sequel to that coming out.
That's supposed to be a series on HBO.
Okay. So everybody check that out. We need to start doing some movie predictions, trying to throw stuff out there to give people some education. Stop watching the Marvel superhero crap and all that other. Watch movies that depict real life situations.
I agree.
So that's Loving the Skinny. You got anything else going on?
Just the usual.
Okay.